Alright, how's everybody doing? Well, welcome back, and we're doing part two of the Florida coastline trip. We're at KSGJ, St. Augustine, our Northeast Regional, Florida, Northeast Florida Regional. That's it. Um, Had some pretty good storms last night, so I was gonna fly, but didn't make it. So we're gonna continue on today. Um, real world, real world weather right now. It is later in the day, but the time in the sim is set to about 9 o'clock. Um, right now it's almost 9 o'clock p.m. on the East Coast. Contemplating staying up for the Falcon Heavy launch tonight, which I just looked at my phone and the notifications say that it got kicked back to 2 a.m. Uh, that would be staying up all night. I really, really want to watch that launch, but we'll be going past it because I think I'm gonna try to do like about an hour or two of flying, so we should be able to get all the way down to Kennedy, and I'm trying to remember where we're stopping. So we're going, like I said, right now we're at St. Augustine, Northeast Florida Regional. We're going to make a 30-minute trip to the south to Flagler. And then we're going to hit Ormond Beach. We'll go to Daytona. We'll probably use some simulate some procedures on getting into the class Charlie and getting in with Daytona and land there. Depart there as well. Then we'll hit New Smyrna Beach. Get Edgewater, which is a small little runway. Massey. It's a Massey airstrip. And from Massey, it's actually a pretty long flight. And we'll get down to Titusville, which is right across from the launch. So, let's see. Should be able to see 29, 9 miles, 11 miles. We might be able to get down there in about another, I say an hour. So we might be around there maybe about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of traffic's in the air on live traffic. Because in the last Falcon Heavy launch, there was a lot of airlines that had perfectly planned their routes flying right through that Daytona area, right when it was taking off. So let's get in the plane. Let's get going. Let's see if Track IR is working today better than it was the other day. So see, I think it's the Airfoil Labs Cessna that's doing that. Because I haven't really seen that in the other planes lately. I wonder if it's setting. You know what it might be? It might be like the camera GFX thing. Let's do this. Oh, it looks like it went away. What if I went basic? Alright. Maybe that just fixed it. Alright, good deal. Alright, weight and balance still the same. We're down 23 gallons. We were actually, I was looking the other day to see where we're at so far as maintenance. I did do some pattern work out here. It was kind of funny. I was a little bit off on my VREF speeds for the Cessna, so that's why the first couple of landings were not smooth at all. Well, there's some real traffic right there. And whoa. It's incoming. There's a Army detachment out here at the end of the runway. That's probably a helicopter that's doing all that. We can take a look and see. So 617 EP. this? 617 EP. A320. What? It's not an A320. Oh, this is nope, it's gone. It's still there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Might be something glitched out. I have not updated the live traffic plugin. Just didn't really. I'm not gonna pay for that subscription thing, so I chose not to do that. I just hit those parking brake anyway. Alright, so let's reset this camera here. Alright, beacon on, nav's on. So there was a little bit of fuel burn from doing some pattern work. And so we're about down another gallon. But it's not too bad so far. I mean, really. 23 gallons. I'm pretty sure we're probably going to make it maybe all the way to Miami without needing fuel, but we'll see. 7.6 quarts of oil left in tank. 7.2, so we're still good there. Anything above 7 or 6, I believe. I think it's above 7. Battery, everything looks good. Everything looks good right now. Alright, let's start her up. Alright, beacon on, nav on. Mixture full. Fuel selector to both. Alright, throttle cracked. Battery on. Fuel pump on. 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull some mixture. And I'll start her. Alright, good start. Pull that RPM back a little bit. It has been extremely hot outside in Florida. As you can see, it's 9 o'clock at night and we're still at 31°C. It's definitely something I've talked to real pilots in Florida, is that you're blessed with the great weather all the time. The problem is in the summertime you have to go flying early or you will bake on the tarmac. As a matter of fact, last summer I went out flying, and let me turn that down. That's chatter. I'm just gonna shut chatter off today. Shut chatter off today. There we go. So I was talking to some, or actually I was flying last summer. Last time I went out, and went out at 8 o'clock p.m. and came back at 10, and oh my goodness, the ramp was already at like 110. It's crazy. Alright, so again, no ATIS at St. Augustine because the frequency's all jacked up, but 2997 from Active Sky, and there's 8. There's 8. Nope, there's 7. Alright. I fixed the audio bug as well. And it was something with OBS. For some reason, my sound was tracking off of a different, was tracking off default, but it wasn't hearing it. I don't know if it was a Windows update thing or whatnot. So we got that. Alright, so our wind's 220 at 3. I kind of do this this is one of the habits I've kind of started doing. Helps me kind of prepare myself. So let's get this rolling here, just past 3, right about there. Let's look. So it's like 35. Alright, right on. So one of the habits I'll do when I'm trying to get myself set up in the cockpit, I don't know if any real world pilots can comment on this, that they do this in like kind of a ground training exercise, but I'll set my heading, or I'll set my wind direction So 220. And then that way I can kind of visualize, okay, which direction I'm going. Now, St. Augustine has 3 runways, but only one's really in use 95% of the time. So I know the runway headings are 3-1 and 1-3. So we'll probably be departing 1-3 with pretty much almost a complete crosswind, but it's only 3 knots right now. Okay, so test that. Test is good. Alright, let's hit it. Taxi's on. No need for pitot heat. Squawking VFR. And we'll put that on standby for now. I will set my GPS up though for this one, just so we can find out how far we are. So let's go menu. We'll delete all these. KSGJ. Going to KFIN next. I have the desktop aviator GNS 43530 panel. So that's what I'm operating the GPS with right now. Very nice. It doesn't have the LCD screen, but it does just have the setup like this with the buttons. So it's not a bad gig if you want to save a little bit of money, having a nice little button setup for Garmin. We're going to OMN next, Ormond. So we'll set these 2 in there. Ormond Beach. Alright, and we'll put KDAP in there too. That way we'll know how far away we're always at. Daytona. Alright, cool. Set that. We're going to go direct to on KFIN. Go back to screen. And I like flying in that view. Like the 530 view. Alright, let's hit it. So off for 1-3. Alright, taxiway is clear. Add a little bit more fuel here. Set my trim. Trim's good. Alright. So when I set my heading bug to the wind, I kind of just use that as a reminder of where the wind's going, and then once I get on the runway, I'll go back to heading, direct heading. It's kind of like that last reminder of where my winds are and what I'm doing on that takeoff to correct or compensate for those winds. So right now we're at St. Augustine. Right there is Northrop Grumman, where I work at. So Bravo 2 to Bravo. Alright, make the turn at Bravo. That's where I plane watch during lunch. Right, sitting right on that parking lot right there. Fun little time, especially when the TPC of Sawgrass in Florida happens. That Monday after that, a lot of nice little Lear jets and really expensive private jets leave. So I'll actually pull down here and we'll actually do a simulated run up just to make sure everything's working well. So we'll come over here to the end and we'll position ourselves into the wind. It's a little run up area over here. So we'll slow her down and we'll spin her around into the wind. Alright, we're going to hold the brakes, mixture full. Alright, looking for 2000. Alright, 2000's in. Gauges are all on the green. Alright, so let's go left mags. No more than 150. Dropped about 100. And no more than 50 difference or 75 difference, I don't remember. So no change in between. Pull to full idle. Make sure she doesn't shut down. Idle's good. Alright. Run up's good. Brakes off. Everything looks good. So go ahead and spin her around here. Alright, flat set. 1 notch. Yeah, so I was rotating at 70, and that's probably what I get for flying a lot of turboprops, like the King Air 350. I literally fly like every other day when it came to the last couple of months. So now I kind of get used to getting back in the really, really slow GA. Alright, landing lights on, taxis off, we're cleared to go, departing to the south. Alright, transponder to on. And we're going to go visual down the coast, going somewhat east today, so we're going to go, we'll cruise low, we'll go 15 again. Check out final, nobody on final. Swing that compass one more time and just make sure that we're good. And we'll line up with the runway 13 and set our heading bug back to 13. The runway's slightly off because it is about, I think it's about a year away from changing designations. That's from what I remember. Alright, we're on 13. Alright, good. Alright, mixture full. Fuel pump on. Alright. I'm going to correct ailerons to the right just a little bit for the wind correction. Airspeed's alive at 40. $55. And rotate. Okay, 200. Flaps up. Okay, I'm gonna trim for 70. We'll just ride the coast. Okay, that's different. So the oil is getting hot. And so we'll ride this low. I kind of don't know how to really adjust that well. So we're almost at 15. So we'll have to ride, I took some throttle out a little bit. It's, the Airfoil Labs doesn't have a setting like the rep package does, where you can change your different oils for different temperatures. Water's looking great today. But it's definitely hot out here. So we're going to pitch to level flight now. She bounces all over the place. Pretty accurate. So that's the city of St. Augustine right over there. So RPM's at 24. I want to kind of keep it around that range. Get that the oil temp has come down a little bit. I want to make sure I'm definitely not going to lean out at all. If anything, I can go higher. But that was definitely surprising. We'll go to 35. Since I'm already having a hard time keeping my altitude. So we'll continue climbing. City of St. Augustine right there. Right there is the castle, or the fort. Great place to visit. Getting extremely busy nowadays with the amount of people that continue flying. Oh, there's some traffic right there. So that's somebody flying right now. Alright, 27 now. Redraw my direct 2. Alright, so we're about 24 miles. We're 24 and a half miles out. Very sensitive to trim, which is pretty good and accurate, especially on the Cessna, because very minor movements and adjustments can make a big deal. So we're almost there. That oil pressure and temp has come down a little bit. Still in the green. Weary about leaning a whole lot. Okay, so alright, 35. We're at 35. I'm gonna pull a little bit of throttle, and we'll lean just a little smidgen. Fuel pump off. Turn our landing lights off during the day. Oh, and so we definitely got some RPM boost out of that. pull a little bit more throttle. Keep it at 24. Alright, so I got it leaned out pretty good, but I definitely want to pay attention to that oil since it did say something. And we're tracking right in. Heading to Flagler. St. Augustine Beach right there. Beautiful. South of St. Augustine Beach, over there, be Crescent Beach. I-95, well, that would be Route 1 out there. I-95 would be another 10 miles or so. Or not even. Like 5. Man, I have such a hard time keep holding my altitude. So, of course, when it comes to simming and flying in real life, and like I said, I'll remind everybody that I'm definitely just starting my PPL, but I do have about 13 hours of flying with somebody else. You definitely feel you miss that feeling that you get in a general aviation aircraft of every bump. And I felt like the last time I went out in a Cessna, I felt it was much easier to hold my altitude a lot easier, because you get the feeling of G's definitely when you're climbing, or you feel light when you're descending. I felt like it was a lot easier to do that. And this plane, I struggle with it, especially as sensitive as this trim is. So I'll add that power back in there. Alright, so we got, you can see right at about 12 o'clock, there's some towers out there. So we'll take a look at where those are. So there's the road. So we got a tower right there, 337, 328. There's one at 519. So that's kind of in our way right there, 416 right there, directly in our route of towards, I'm a little bit off right now. Holy moly. Okay, so there's K-Fin right there. We're coming off the beach. It's kind of this way. So those towers are past Flagler. We're 16 out, so we're definitely going to begin to start our descent. Let's tune in our ATIS at 118.45. $325. I was off on there. Alright, let's pull it up. Okay, let's try 128. 325. It's been a long day. Let's tell you that. Okay, there we go.
Flagler Executive Information Tango. 1300 Zulu weather. Wind 280 at 13. Visibility more than 10.
Alright, 06.
Sky clear. Temperature 280. Dew point -3. Altimeter 2999. Arriving runway 06.
299.
Departing runway 06. Advise on initial contact, you have Tango.
Okay. Alright, so we're 13 out. Let's get into pattern altitude. Altitude at Flagler is 33 feet.
Flagler Executive Information Tango. 1300 Zulu weather. Wind 280 at
All right.
13, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 28, dew point -3. Altimeter 2999. Arriving runway 06, departing runway 06. Advise on initial
Let's put our
contact,
mixture in. Landing light comes back on. I'm gonna pull a little bit of throttle.
Flagler Executive Information Tango. 1300 Zulu weather. Wind 280 at 13, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 28, dew point -3. Altimeter 2999. Arriving runway 06, departing runway 06.
So here's
Advise on
I-95 right here,
Tango.
crossing over it right now. So we're going to end up intercepting the, we'll enter the downwind at a 45 for 06. So we're pretty much, you can see we're pretty much tracking right in on that. Gonna have to come a little bit more left, kind of follow the highway a little bit more.
Arriving runway 06, departing runway 06. Advise on initial contact, you have Tango.
We have Tango. So we're gonna come down to 1500. We'll probably get closer to 11, like 12, just so we're ready at pattern altitude. 8 away. Should probably practice my seat or my calls, so I do want to get back into pilot edge. So a towered class Delta, 10 out. November 332 Bravo, Cessna, November 332 Bravo, 9 miles to the north, inbound full stop, runway 6 at 2500. Probably a legitimate response would be, man, that was a horrible radio call, but make 45 into the downwind. Left downwind for runway 6. Probably report base turn or midfield, something like that. Depending on if it was a busy day. A lot of flight schools and all these airports around here. I honestly don't know how much traffic Flagler gets, but I know St. Augustine's busy all day. Alright, 6 miles out. Oh, with Tango. Forgot, with Tango. Alright, so we're coming down. We're almost at 2,000. Probably let out a little bit more throttle. What's the winds doing there?
Flagler Executive Information
270 at 9.
1300 Zulu weather.
270 at 9.
Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 28. Dew point -3. Altimeter 2999.
I honestly think that somebody messed up on the wind settings for the airport. Because if anything, I should probably make right traffic for runway 24. Man, there's a runway 29, so we can make a right traffic for 29, which would probably be better for us. So we're going to do that. So when you're doing, if you've done any airports in WED, you can set wind, when wind is in a, to do an airport right, you got to really set up your ATIS and get your comms correct. Actually, you know what, we'll set up in a 45 for runway 29. So we'll cut the power a little bit more, get down. So Cessna 332 Bravo entering the 45, downwind, right downwind traffic for runway 29. Flagler County. So you can set what runway is going to be expecting with a certain wind direction. So if you go to a runway or you go to a gateway scenery and everything's telling you to go to the right runway, that means that the gateway designer did a good job. Alright, so let's trim for 80. We're right here at pattern altitude. I'm going to bump up the power a little bit. So we'll trim for 80. And we're going to make, let's get this right here, 29. Okay. So let's make our downwind. Hold our altitude. Hold our altitude. Some traffic right out in front of us. Up high. Add a little bit more power. Whoop, getting slow. 1800's where I want to be at. Beam the numbers, so we're going to go flaps, 1-notch flaps. Get a little bit of a 500 foot per minute sink. Alright, landing lights on. We'll just get our fuel pump on. I'm a little late on that one. Right, 45. So let's make our turn here. I'm going to go 2 notches of flaps. Much better feeling. Add a little bit more power here. Then my airport work the other day. The first 2 landings of this series were not very good. Alright, making final, short final. A little bit high. Looking good. Ooh, and this airport is off its mark. Just a bit. Just a little bit. I don't think I ever realized how far off it was. Okay. So I want to get right about 65. So I'm pulling some power here. That touchdown area looks really weird to me. And we're going to float it again. So we're not going to full stop. We're going to do touch and go. Alright, flaps up 1 notch and full power. Keep her down 65 and pull. 55, I'm sorry. Let's find out where that traffic went. Alright, flaps up. And let's make a right base. Right upwind, I'm sorry. if you fly IFR often, like in the sim, you kind of, at least I noticed that I got really rusty with my pattern work. So I like to, definitely going to use this training simulation as part of a supplement, you know, to kind of get better at doing these general aviation things. Alright. We'll go back to 30. We'll go back to, we'll stay at 15 because we do not have very far to go. We're only 11 miles away from Ormond. And I'm gonna get the ATIS ready for that, which is 118.45.
Flagler Executive Information Tango. 1300 Zulu weather. Wind 280 at 5. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear.
118.475.
Altimeter 2999. Arriving runway 06. Departing runway 06. Advise on initial contact, you have Tango.
Right, there's 15. So let's trim it down a little bit here. And we'll depart to the south.
Beach Muni Information Tango. 1300 Zulu weather. Wind 280 at 6. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 2.
Okay, so arriving 35.
Altimeter 2999. Arriving runway 35. Departing runway 35. Advise on initial contact, you have Tango.
.280 at 6. So Ormond's got. See, and that one might be a little bit off too, because there's runway 26. So it seems like that would be a better opportunity. At 280.
Departing runway 35. Advise on initial contact, you have Tango.
Like I said, I'm still struggling to keep my altitude. Okay, we can go fuel pump off. Let's shut our landing line off for now.
Beach Muni Information Tango.
Alright, thank you, sir.
1300 Zulu weather. Wind 280 at 7. Visibility more than 10.
Shut one off. So there's the airport right out in front of us. 280. Well, you know what? Let's do it. We'll do 3-5, and we'll practice a crosswind. And wow, that thing really wanted to jump on me. We definitely want to make sure, because if I pull this up here for you, show you, make sure I don't over throttle. So remember, the class Charlie right here, unless we requested to be in it, we cannot be above 1,200 feet. So we need to make sure we stay below that to not be in the class Charlie. So that's what we'll do. Need to make sure we're in the class Charlie. Again, 7.8 out. Make our call to Ormond. Ormond Tower, Skyhawk, November 332 Bravo, 6 miles to the north, inbound, touch and go, runway 35, with Tango. Alright, so we're at 13 right there. Add some RPM. And actually, I keep messing that up because I wouldn't be requesting a runway. They'd be telling me. I could ask after I make contact, but as far as contact's concerned, You state where you are, where you're going, what do you want to do, and the weather. So we'll go right into a downwind 435, left downwind. So we're at 13. We're getting really close to the class Charlie, so we definitely want to duck below that right now. So we'll just get the pattern altitude for Orman, which is 40. So 1040. Landing light should come back on. Strobes can come off. Mixture full. So reasonable 2 scenarios of ATC out of this tower would be either reporting midfield for 3-5 or announce your left base. So okay, so that's where we want to be at. We want to be at 1,000 feet. So I'm going to pitch up a little bit, trim it. Want to hold that. I want to get the pattern speed. So I'm going to hold, trim it for 80. Pull it for 1800. A little bit close to the runway. Get my 3, 4, 3, 5 right there. Okay. So we need to pay attention to what I'm doing here. All right. Let's get this altitude back up. Let's pitch for or trim for 80. Trimmed for 80. A little bit below, or yeah, below pattern altitude. Just bump up the speed a little bit. Add a little bit more power. All right. So we're a lot closer to the runway than I normally am on my pattern, so gotta make note of that it's gonna be a quick turn. Alright, so we're below pattern altitude, so I'm gonna have to be a little bit smarter about this. There's our threshold. Right there. Alright. 1800. Flaps. 1 notch down. Pull to about 1600 RPM. I think I'm at 17 right now. All right. And of course, because I'm used to flying more inch-sprint approaches, that getting on glide with a short final has definitely been challenging for me. So I'm trying not to extend it as much as I have been. But okay, so we're gonna really get rid of some of this. All right, so wind is coming from our left, so I'm going to dip the wing to the left, rudder to the right, and get us back in here. Okay. All right, 2 notches of flaps. Again, I'm focusing on the touchdown area. I need to get better at that. Try to dive down to the numbers, but we're going to be fast because we did that. It's a very, very bad approach right there. Too fast. Too fast. Alright, flaps up, full power. 65. And flaps up. Alright, so we're going to stay below. Continue with the left pattern. I turned a little bit earlier. So let's make a better landing at Daytona for sure. Alright, let's grab Daytona's ATIS 132.875. Com 1's on. Alright, so being 7 miles out. 132.875. Not registering. Let's check it out here. Whoop. That's not what I wanted. Let's make sure KDAP has got their stuff together. 120.050. Not what we got. Breaking the Charlie right now. 120.05. And this is why you stay ahead of your aircraft, so you don't make mistakes like this.
Daytona Beach
Okay.
INTL information tank.
97
1300 Zulu
1 2.
280 at 5.
Okay.
Visibility more than 10. Sky
So
clear.
approaching a Charlie, we'd ask request permission to enter the Charlie airspace.
Arriving runways 25
Contacting
right,
approach.
34. Departing runways 25 right, 34.
So we have Tango, 25 right, 34. Let's take a look at which one I want. We'll take 3 4.
Daytona Beach INTL information Tango.
That's a smaller one.
1300 Zulu weather.
Not familiar, but let's see what that traffic pattern is.
Temperature 33.
So 3 4.
Altimeter 2997. Arriving runways 25 right.
Trying to do this and fly at the same time is
Departing
not
runways
easy
25
whatsoever.
Right, 34. Advise on initial contact. You have Tango.
Okay. So 3 4, it's a left traffic pattern, so we're downwind for 3 4, so that works perfect.
Daytona Beach INTL information.
We want to get
Tango.
back down to pattern altitude.
1400 Zulu weather. Wind 280 at 7. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 33.
We bumped up 1 point on the
Altimeter 299.
altimeter, so we're on
Arriving
8.
runways 25 right, 34.
So pretty much the same landing we just had a little bit ago.
Advise on initial contact.
So
You
let's
have
try to
Tango.
stick this a little bit better. Alright, ATIS is good. We have the weather. We have permission to go into the Charlie. So then we contact tower. And we'll go full stop on this one. Alright, I want to focus on 2 things. Holding my altitude. And so there's 13. Alright, landing lights are on, strobes are off. Fuel pump's on. Mixture's full. Power to... Alright. I want to hold this altitude. Right there. And there goes the speed bleeding. Let's trim up. Trim for 80. Add a little bit more power. Alright. Not doing a good job holding that altitude. Welcome to Daytona. Racetrack's right there. Daytona International Speedway. Alright. Focus. Hitting the numbers. Let's hit the numbers this time. A little stutter from the sim right there. Okay. Okay, there's the threshold. There's the touchdown markers. There's the numbers. Alright. 1600 laps down. Alright, so let's go a second notch and make our turn. 45, we're at 45. Getting closer to the airport than I normally am, so I want to make sure. Quick turn. Still at 80. I'm trying to hold 75. Almost overshot that one a little bit. Okay. I'm definitely... Let's go third notch, see if that slows us down a little bit. Am I a three notch guy or not? Let's see here. Left's first. Not bad, a little bit. Flaps up real quick. I'm gonna make this turn right here. Oh, this is a broken taxi lane. Should have looked before I turned, right? Okay, fuel pump can come off. We'll go ground mixture. Right. So we're at Daytona. Next one is New Smyrna Beach. I think it's about 20 miles to the south. Holding short of 25. Check in for traffic. Just kind of surprised there's no traffic coming in right now. Saw that there's one that's been created on live traffic. Let's get across the runway real quick. Alright, so flaps are all the way up. Let's get trim back to take off. So Daytona Beach, if you're not familiar, has Embry-Riddle Flight School there. A lot of Embry-Riddle planes in the air during the day, most of the time if you're in the Daytona area, Ormond Beach area. A lot of flight schools and training going on. Alright, holding short of, what was that, 3-4? Okay, so we're going to go 1 notch flaps down, fuel pumps back on, strobes are on, mixture's full. I'll get that 3-4 in there. Check for final. Everything's good there. Alright, left traffic, floorboard. A little bit of aileron correction there. Airspeed's live at 40, 50, 55, rotate. That's a good rotation, I like that. Stay on heading. 200, flaps up. .500 above, make left traffic. Nice rollout, nice easy rollout. And another turn there. Departing to the south. So we're going to go to 1500 and stop there. So we're going to do a full stop and text to the FBO at New Smyrna. And we'll conclude part 2 of the Florida coast trip there. I want to really kind of see where the maintenance is at right now. I think that's the most amount of flying that I've done in one